Kamusta na kayo?
Hola, hola, everyone.
What's up, everybody? Mexipino podcast, episode maybe 8?
Yes, 8.
Yeah,
Ocho.
episode 8. Welcome back, everybody. Shouts out to our boy DJ Cook Beats for joining us on the last episode, by the way.
Yes, it was a really good one.
Yeah, it was good.
I think we're going to have a lot more guests on. It's going to be really exciting to see, which one of our friends and, other people who we just want on our podcast.
Yeah, and truthfully, you don't have to be somebody in entertainment. I think I want to take that out of the question first and foremost. I think we're talking about having some of our friends like KB on the podcast very soon. She used to work at iHeart with us. Well, she works at iHeart with Jackie right now.
Yes, she does.
Just off the top of the head, maybe Whoa Ashley if she's somehow some way over here in LA.
Ashley, if you're hearing this, we want you on. We will also want Jameson and Kat, our friends Jason and Catherine.
Yeah, they're dope people, and it'll just be cool to get a lot of people. I feel like I'm a regular everyday person. I'm sure Jackie feels the same way as well, and we just want to get other regular ass people like ourselves on the podcast. So shouts out to each and every one of you listening, and if you do want to be a guest, just make sure you hit us up, and we will be 1,000% down.
Yeah, I just want to point out really quickly how I just noticed how your mic is pointed up and mine is pointed down because of our height difference.
Well, it's not only the height difference, but I think this chair that I'm sitting on is more elevated. That's why. That's
why.
Really it. So Jackie, I my stomach actually feels very full right now because Jackie has done some TikTok research, and this is the second time she's made a sushi bake.
Yes, I love looking up recipes on TikTok and different drinks on TikTok, alcoholic drinks, and I every time I see something really interesting or I think it will be really good, I send it to Nico and I'm like, can we try this? And he's like, yeah, we could try it, and I'm the one that ends up cooking most of it.
Yeah, and I'm just sure.
Yeah, sure, babe. Yeah, we could do that.
Okay, so can you tell everybody what's in the sushi bake first?
Yeah, so there's rice, white rice. There's imitation crab that you have to kind of chop up. Furikake. So basically it's the first layer of rice, furikake, imitation crab, and in the imitation crab you have green onion, Kewpie mayo. You can't substitute it for regular mayo, which I've heard is completely different. Sriracha, wasabi, and a bit of sour cream.
That's a lot of stuff.
So then you broil it in the oven, and then you eat it with some seaweed. Oh, it's so good.
I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm still kind of on my fast, so I'll kind of eat around 3 and maybe end around 9 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jackie made a whole a plate. No, not a plate, but
it's a whole tray.
She made a whole tray worth of the sushi bake, and she and I killed half of it already.
Yeah, more than half of it actually. I was putting it back away in the kitchen while Nico was setting up the podcast setup, and I was just damn, we ate a lot of it.
We ate a lot, but it was funny because this was the second time that we were making the sushi bake, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed something different between my household and Jackie's household. So, and by my household, I mean not only my apartment, but my parents' house versus Jackie's house. And the one thing I feel Filipinos or just Asian people in general always have in the household is a rice cooker. And I have not seen a rice cooker in Jackie's parents' house, which is a Mexican household.
Yeah, no. As far as I know, a lot of Mexicans don't use rice cookers because we usually do it in a pan or something because we cook the Mexican rice, You know the rice
in a pan?
Yeah,
the rice is cooked in a pan.
Yeah, and it works, and then we add our own mix to it. It's Mexican rice. It's cooked different than a rice cooker,
Yeah, but the rice cooker. See, the thing is, your family has not used a rice cooker before, so you don't know how convenient that thing is.
That is very true. I will say, my mom does try and cook white rice, but she can't get it right because she cooks it in a pan. And she knows that it would be beneficial probably to use a rice cooker, but we just don't ever have a rice cooker,
Okay, so have you cooked rice? I know how to cook rice in a pan. So then how would she not know how to make white rice if she knows how to make orange rice?
It doesn't really like get as sticky, you know, like the sticky white rice. She can't really like. I guess her measurements are off. I don't know. Like it's really weird. It's really weird. But yeah. But with like Mexican rice, my mom's a pro. Like I know my family. Like every time we have a carne asada or something, no one else makes the rice. They have my mom make the rice because they've tried. All of my other aunts have tried making the Mexican rice, and it comes out soggy or it comes out like just like. Not like my mom's, and everyone's like, you know what? Let's just have Vero do it.
Okay, so for Filipinos like myself who have not tried like Mexican rice, like I'm pretty sure I've had Mexican rice before, like maybe in like a burrito or something, right?
But you've had my mom's Mexican rice too.
Yeah, I've had your mom's Mexican rice. Can you break down what Mexican rice really is? Because all I know is that Mexican rice is orange.
Yeah, okay. Well, first off, Mexican rice is the actual grain is not orange, okay? So it's like obviously you have to add some mixes into it. So my mom puts like, you know, tomato, onion, a little bit of cilantro, I believe. She puts like a powder it's like a Mexican kind of powder mix. She puts a scoop of that in there in the blender, some water, and then she blends it all together, and then she pours it in with the rice, and she lets it simmer, and that's basically how Mexican rice is cooked. It's just added like, it's like almost like a salsa, I would say, like puree type of thing inside the rice.
So the tomato kind of bleeds its color onto the rice.
Yeah, and with the powder too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense because I kid y'all not, like before eating Jackie's mom's rice, I literally only thought there was white rice and brown rice. And I was like, where's this orange rice coming from?
Yeah, I saw this video one time where this kid had moved out of his house. And he called his mom because he was like buying groceries, and he calls his mom. His mom's like, "What do you want?" And he's like, "Mom, where do I get the orange rice?" And then she's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Yeah, like the orange rice that you make. Like I can't find it. They only have white rice." And she's all like, "Well, you don't buy orange rice. You have to like make it into Mexican rice."
I'm hella dead. I can't even imagine. Like, I mean, I guess it's like both of our sides, right? Like, yeah. I only thought white and brown rice ever existed, and I'm not speaking for you, but I'm speaking for like that kid who legitimately only thought orange rice was a thing.
Yeah, it's definitely not. And like I've told my mom, like I want to learn how to like make her rice because she makes it a very particular way. But what's so funny, I think, about like Mexican mom recipes is that you'll ask them to teach you, and they're like, yeah, you add this, and then when you ask them like, okay, how much? It's like, however much you think is right. I'm like,
just eyeball it.
I'm like, well, what if I do it wrong? Like, it's not going to come out right. And like, my mom will add like a cup of water to the rice, and then she'll like go back 5 minutes. She's like, add a little bit more. I was like, so how much is that? And she's like, about this much. And she puts up like a big cup. I'm like, Mom, I don't know how much that is.
It's just, you kind of just have to eyeball it. That's it.
But what if it comes out like shitty? Like now it's like,
I mean, then you obviously need better vision.
Yeah, well,
you couldn't eyeball it.
Oh my God.
But hey, Jackie just got contacts, so she can't eyeball it that well. Oh my God.
But literally, I do way better with actual measurements in recipes than just eyeballing it, because I'm just like, okay. Like, at least I know how to go about these steps. Not just like, and I know it'll come out good if I follow these steps.
Well, that's what made the TikTok stuff so easy for you, the sushi bake.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel it. So I want to go over this one thing that Filipinos end up doing in regards to creating rice or putting rice in the actual rice cooker. So one thing I knew growing up in a Filipino household was that whenever I made rice, my parents always said, use this mark on your pinky if you need to know how much water you need to actually put in. And I said, all right, cool,
It makes sense, I guess.
It kind of makes sense. And then I eventually moved out of my parents' house, and I was like, okay, first thing I'm going to buy is a rice cooker. And I've come to realize the best way that my rice comes out is that I equate 1 cup of rice with 1 cup of water. Relatively, if it's 2 cups of rice, 2 cups of water. And my rice just comes out different, and it's the way that I like it.
Well, I feel like everyone finds their different ways of like cooking rice and cooking anything really. Like it's just like you figure out what works best for you and what like you like.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, let's say you have 3 cups of rice in the rice cooker.
But
right?
yeah.
So, okay, let's say you have 4 cups of rice in the rice cooker.
Yeah.
And your dumbass is trying to measure the water by this. It's not enough water.
No, but it's like at the top of the rice, right? It's like if you put your finger at the top of the rice and you fill it up to that line.
Yeah, but
it makes
it's
sense.
a lot. It's a lot of water.
No, it literally looked like that when you made the rice today.
Nah.
Oh my God.
Nah.
Oh my
See, the
God.
thing is, I ain't got to put my pinky all up in the rice.
Hey, you're not putting it all up in the rice.
Yeah,
You're putting
yeah.
it on the top of the surface of the rice, okay? It's not all up in there. You're not shoving your hand in the rice cooker.
All I'm saying is, if you don't want to put your damn pinky inside the rice, just equate it 1 of 1.
Okay, Nico.
1 cup of rice, 1 cup of water.
Nico is literally not making sense. All you have to do is put it at the surface.
Oh my
And
God.
he's thinking you got to put the whole hand in there.
Nah, I'm not thinking that. I'm just saying for the times where I have done that, it doesn't come out the way I want it.
Is that when you kept on burning your rice when I first met you?
Look, first of all, no. No, the burnt rice comes from keeping it like too much in the warm. After it's done cooking, if you keep it too much in the warm, it's going to burn.
Too much in the warm? Too much in the warm setting, babe.
Y'all know what I meant. You know what I meant. If you keep that thing too much in the warm.
In the warm. If you keep it too much in the warm.
Too much in the warm.
Oh my God, I'm sick.
But it's so weird to me how, like, I don't know.
There's just different things that, you know, Mexican households do and Filipino households do that, you know, we've grown to like see, and like it's just like, oh, okay, like that's interesting, you know? Because before I met you, like, this is something that a lot of people are gonna like trip out on, is like my family, we just walk in and we don't take off our shoes, and we just take off our shoes once we get to our room and then put on like sandals or whatever.
Yeah.
But I noticed starting dating you that Asian households, you take off your shoes at the entrance of the door and you start like, you know, put on your house shoes and then you go. For me, it was always growing up like, just go to your room and then change your shoes.
Yeah, see, that's just a whole extra step. I can't do it.
And then I remember when Nico and I first started dating, like he went over to when he first came over to my house, he looked at me and he like stopped at the entrance, and looking around, I was like, what? He goes, I feel bad if I walk in your house with my shoes. I was all like, it's fine, like it's okay. And you're like, no, it's not. And I was like, it's fine. Like I get it, but it's okay.
It's
like
not.
I get it. Like I understand that you don't want to walk, but it's okay. Trust me.
See, the thing is, I can't speak for all Asians or just Asians in general as to why we take our shoes off right before entering. It's a respect thing, one, right? But at least in my household, where my mom is definitely like a neat freak too, it's the respect thing. But imagine stepping in just a pile of like dog shit.
Well, obviously.
And then and then you walk in the house, right? So that's a very obvious thing, right?
Yes.
So can you imagine how many more things you'd be bringing into the house by walking around the house with the shoes that you were just walking around outside with? That's kind of gross. It's kind of gross.
It is gross. And now ever since I started dating you, like, I just take off my shoes in the back and I just walk inside, or like I'll just wipe my shoes on the towel like that, or a rag that we have on the floor, because then my mom put a rag on the floor and we just wipe our shoes there and then we walk in. And
your mom does that now?
Yeah.
Like she only recently started doing that?
Yeah, she started doing it because of like the whole pandemic and everything, and she realized,
you
know what?
So what you're saying is it took an entire pandemic for your mom to realize.
Well, both my parents.
So
all of us, really.
So it took an entire pandemic for your Mexican household to realize that germs live at the bottom of your shoes and you need to take them off at the front of the house.
No.
What?
No. Anyway, but I will say, I will say that like when I was playing like softball and my brother was playing baseball, we would come home. My brother and I were very like physical like players when it came to like our sports, and so we would always like dive around, we'd throw ourselves, we slide, and we'd do this and do that. So there was always dirt, and like we like stunk, you know, we sweat, and like so whenever I would come back home from games or even practice, my mom would tell me, she's like, take off your shoes, take off your socks, just basically declothe and only have like my sports bra on and like my sliders.
Oh my God.
And then she'd be like, then you can just go run in the shower. She goes, because you're not stepping in my house with all that dirt and you stink. And I'm like, okay, like, all right. Like it got to even to a point where she wouldn't even sometimes let me get in the car unless she put out a towel because of all the dirt.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay. And then sometimes like after tournament, she'd be like, Jack, like you stink. I'm like, yeah, I'm very aware because I just played in the sun for like 6 hours, dog.
See, but that's the thing though. Like those are very obvious things that you see, right? And I've been to, you know, you and your parents' house. Like it's super clean. Like it's very clean. Like y'all, they clean like literally every
weekend.
No. Like they literally clean like every 2 days or something like that.
No, okay. We like pick up and tidy up like every few days, but we like clean like every weekend or every other weekend if we're like busy one weekend.
So my point is that like your house is extremely clean, and that's congratulations, right?
You know, my mom's gonna probably see this if we clip it. She's gonna be like, yeah,
no,
I'm
it's
proud.
super clean. But I'm saying is like if your mom was able to identify a stench or a stain or whatever because she witnessed you and your brother playing baseball games while younger. So naturally, when you slide or, you know, you do whatever during baseball games, you're dirty and you see that you're dirty.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, can you imagine like just doing your regular everyday activities in your shoes? You might have been stepping on puddles. You might have been stepping on the beach. You might have been doing this, doing that.
Yeah.
And those are the things that you don't see, and it's still entering the house.
Yeah. No, I get you. I do get you. I do get you. But like now it is a thing for us to like, you know, either we take off our shoes or we clean our shoes like with the towel. So I mean, we've changed that in our Mexican household, in our routine. So yeah, it's something that we've always done too, is like we'll immediately change from our outside clothes.
Yeah.
If you come home from like a night out or from work or from wherever, and you go and sit down on your bed or on your couch with your outside clothes, you're disgusting.
I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, I didn't give a fuck.
Oh my God. Ew. No.
I'm talking about when I was like 16 or something.
Ew. So you were like out there tutting all day and like in the freaking courtyard.
I would eventually like change my clothes, but
eventually change probably like an hour or two later.
Yeah, like an hour before I wanted to sleep.
You're disgusting. You're disgusting.
When I was 16, that was like 8-9 years ago.
Babe, at 16, you have to have at least good hygiene for that.
Look, I smelled fresh. I just needed some Axe body spray. We was good to go.
Oh my God, he said Axe body spray. I'm fucking sick. If you are a male and used Axe body spray to cover up your sweat stench, no.
Jesus.
Disgusting. I remember in middle school, like all the dudes like would go into the locker room. You know what? I'm gonna talk about this real quick.
Go ahead.
In middle school, if you think about it, like we're going through puberty, all of us, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna Nico. Oh my God. Let me start that over. In middle school, we're going through puberty, and their logical way of thinking was like, okay, let's put them in PE class in the middle of the day and tell them to change in locker rooms with other people where, you know, you're self-conscious about your body because you're going through puberty. You can't shower after running a mile on the track, and all these dudes and all these girls are using the Victoria's Secret body spray. Dudes are hella like using Axe body spray. And it's just like, that was so like,
Disgusting. That was
disgusting.
disgusting. Yeah.
It wasn't hygienic at all.
Yeah. I never understood why they ended up putting PE just smack in the middle. I mean, luckily.
I had PE like third period.
Well, see, luckily, so I was on the quarter system in high school.
Oh.
Yeah, so we only had 4 classes throughout the day. And as far as I could remember, my PE class was at the end of the day. So then I basically did not have to, Jesus Christ. So I basically did not have to worry about trying to shower like during school or in between classes because it was always last for me.
Well, see, that was the thing. At my school, we didn't even have showers, you know? Like it wasn't a thing to use the showers after PE class because it was middle school. And that's the last thing you want to do is shower in front of like your friends and other people that you don't know because you're a kid, you know?
Yeah.
And it's really weird and like disgusting if you think about it. I remember I would come home, like it was a thing in my middle school. It was a thing in my middle school. Shout out if you went to Eastmont. And you know what I'm talking about is if you like if you were a girl, if you wore your like your PE shorts with your like your regular shirt, and it was just like, yeah, like I don't care attitude, I don't care look type of thing. And if you were able to look cute in your PE shorts, it's like, oh my God. And I remember at one time I wore my PE shorts after like PE and the rest of the day. And then I went back home and my dad was like, don't you ever do that again. I was like, why? He goes, because that's disgusting. He goes, and I was just like, okay, I get it. And I was just trying to be like all the other girls.
Yes, yeah. See, I guess we can basically root it back to like middle school, high school, because we've had those classes where it's just like PE and then like you literally sit in your stench for the entire day. So
yeah, I mean, even in high school too, you know?
It was disgusting.
It was disgusting.
Super gross.
So, yeah. Moral story is change outside of your outside clothes when you get home.
Moral of the story.
And shower.
Yeah, well, definitely shower. But moral of the story is, like, if you're a freaking high school or middle school institution, don't make PE smack in the middle of the day.
Yeah, who wants to be running a mile at, like, 12:30 in the afternoon?
Yeah, I don't know. That's disgusting, man. That's so disgusting.
And what sucks, too, is that, like, if you didn't participate, like, you got docked points off your grade. It's like, well, or sometimes they would even make us, like, run or walk the track in our clothes, like our regular clothes.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
See, back in middle school, we all had our own like PE outfits. We had like a very standard PE outfit at this private school, Corpus Christi, which is also shut down and which also had a couple like very, very bad allegations.
Oh, our high school did too after I left. So
very bad allegations. Shouts out to the priest, or not shouts out to the priest, whatever you want to say.
Don't shout out the priest, babe.
But yeah, so we would all have, in my school, we would have like this blue jumpsuit type of thing.
A jumpsuit?
It was basically a jumpsuit, yeah. It was
Did you look like a freaking prisoner?
Actually, yeah, kind of, yeah.
His schools are
It was
prison.
all blue, said Jesus Christ.
It's a joke.
Oh my God, she said orange is the new black, much?
Oh my God.
Great show, by the way. But yeah, like it would basically be in like this blue jumpsuit and like the entire time. Even the top was we could remove the top because it was like also a sweater, but like if during PE we could not remove the top. They basically forced us to like
keep the top on?
Keep everything on the entire time.
Why?
I don't know.
See, ours was like we had lockers. We had like the locker room. Whoa, for at least for middle school, because in high school I was in softball, so I literally took my sports bag every day. But in middle school, we had these black and orange shorts, and they had like the name tag, so you could put your name on there. We had the shirt that had the school logo on it, and then they also had the name on there, and you had to write your name on it to make sure that's like, you know, it's yours, blah, blah, blah. And then what's even crazier is that like sometimes if you forgot it and somebody had an extra pair of shorts, like, can I borrow your shorts? It's like, oh my God, now that I think about it, it's so...
Middle school was weird. Middle school was definitely weird. I want to share this story because like it's kind of interesting growing up and then realizing the craziness that actually happened in your middle school or high school without you realizing it at the time. And I've told Jackie this story a couple times. So I went to a private school. It was a Corpus Christi in the Mission District in San Francisco. And what that basically meant was we had to wear a uniform every single day. It was a red sweater vest with a white collar underneath, these blue corduroys, and we also had to wear some black shoes. All of this was mandatory. And a belt.
And a belt.
And a belt. So
even if you didn't need the belt, you had to wear it?
Even if we did not need the belt. Well, maybe let me dismiss the belt right now. Let me dismiss the belt. Maybe we didn't need the belt, right? But what we did need to do was tuck in our white button-ups into our corduroy pants. So, one time, there's this kid, and I remember his name. His name's Philip. He was older than me. Philip would be known for keeping his shirt untucked from his pants. And one time, one of the teachers was just like, hey, if you come back to school again, or if I see you again with that shirt untucked, I'm going to staple that shirt onto your pants. And so, maybe we're all just kind of like, whatever.
Like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, like, sure, bro, sure. But literally, I remember coming across Philip again. I don't know if it was the same day or the following day or whatever, but there was literally staples from his shirt to his pants. His shirt was literally stapled onto his pants.
That's horrible.
Yeah, but you know what's so crazy is that back then, we all kind of were just like, oh, ha, ha, ha.
Like making fun of Philip because he got in trouble.
Yeah, we're making fun of Philip because he got in trouble. But realistically, I'm like, when you grow up, it's abuse. Like, that's fucked up, bro. That's fucked up.
Like an adult put his hands on a child and embarrassed him and humiliated him.
Yeah.
Poor Philip.
Yeah, poor Philip. I mean, let me go over one more story. I don't think I've ever told this story on like a public play,
platform.
Public platform. Public platform.
That's all, folks.
So the weird thing is that, well, first of all, it's very rare that I actually have a beard and I can actually grow a mustache as well. My dad has a mustache, but then my family would always be like, where did you even get the beard from? Because there's no one in our family who has a beard. Come to find out that my great grandfather, he actually had a beard because there was like Spanish blood in him, more predominantly Spanish blood. So I saw a photo of him. I'm like, oh, okay, he has a beard. It probably just jumped a couple generations. Now it's with me, right? Yeah. That being said, when I was younger, I was able to grow a mustache fairly quickly. 4th grade. Okay, so I grew a mustache out in 4th grade. Again, being in a private school, we were not allowed to have facial hair. So this same teacher was just like, hey, Nico, so you're going to have to shave off that mustache. And if you don't, then I'm going to make sure that you do shave it. Something along those lines, right? And again, the same scenario. Everyone's just like,
was this before or after Philip?
I can't even remember, honestly. Okay. Probably before, because I was a little bit younger, right? And only reason I know that is because Philip was in the 8th grade when that happened.
Oh, okay,
to him, right?
Okay.
So, long story short, I go to my parents the next day, and I'm like, hey, Mom, Dad, so-and-so told me, the teacher, that I have to shave my mustache off. And then my parents were like, no, it's okay. I mean...
You're a kid,
You're a kid. Like, the more you shave it,
the faster it's gonna grow, and thicker it's gonna grow,
and you're gonna have to shave it some more. So I'm like, all right, whatever my parents say, right? I'll listen to my parents. Go back to school the next day. Teacher walks in. He's like, all right, class. He looks directly at me. He's like, I'll be right back. Walks out. Everyone's kind of just like crazed, like, what is going on? Like, this fool comes back with literally a bucket of water, some shaving cream, and a razor.
Oh.
And a razor. And he was like, Nico, I need you to come to the front of the class. So at that time, like all my friends were laughing. I was kind of embarrassed, but I was also just like, whatever. I just want to get this over with. So, I'm like shaving in front of the class. I'm turned away.
But you don't even know how to shave because you're a kid. You don't know.
Yeah, I was in like 4th, 5th grade. So
and did he even bother to like show you?
Oh yeah. So then I was like, so how do I do this exactly? He's like, apply the shaving cream onto your face. And then don't scrape it on your face, but, just like put the razor. Like he taught me, but I was just like.
That's a very scarring way to be taught.
I mean, I remember it, right? So I guess I was permanently scarred from that.
No, that's horrible.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, granted, my face felt super clean, and I actually liked that the mustache was off because I didn't like it at the same time. But,
But
it's like,
still.
yeah, still. Like, I'm not trying to justify it or anything, right? But I'm saying, like, it's so crazy how you look back at situations from...
a kid.
A kid. And it's just like, wow, like that was actually a very embarrassing and like messed up situation that you get put through.
What did your parents do?
That I don't remember. I think
I
my memory.
would love to ask your mom.
I don't even think they remember, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think so.
Oh my God. If I was a parent and like my kid was forced to like do that or was publicly embarrassed,
all hands on deck. We swinging.
We're swinging. We're collecting a check. We're like making sure that person loses their credentials. Like
everything.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't think I have an embarrassing story like a teacher like made me like.
Well, that's very good.
Yeah, like do anything. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess that was just their way of like, the school's way of just like disciplining. But I'm just like, I mean, I'll get disciplined from my parents.
I will say, like, I doubt it would. It seems more prominent that it would happen in a private school than a public school.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there are rules and regulations for private schools rather than public schools.
So since we're kind of on the topic of like discipline right now, like what are some things that I feel like Filipino and Mexican ways of discipline was very similar.
Oh yeah.
Even if we talk about like the traditional sense, it's very similar.
Yeah, there are some similarities. I mean, like growing up, like my parents never put a hand on me. I could say that. Like they never put a hand on me. However, I knew I was in trouble when I got we like to call it, the look. When like your Mexican mom gives you the look in like a public place because you're acting up and you're about to get shit at home. Like you better cut that shit out because you're going to get it at home. And for me, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to get hit or anything because my parents never hit me, but I would get disciplined in other ways. Like I remember my dad took away softball from me. He took away softball from me. They would take away my phone. They'd do like, like you're grounded, blah, 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 blah. But I remember like the worst thing that like my parents could have done to discipline me was take away softball. Like my dad said, you're not going, you're not participating. Don't even think about it. Like you're not doing it for a week. And I was just like, okay.
So it was more mental.
It was mental
torture.
It was more mental discipline and emotional discipline than anything. Because then you always get, this is something like, I don't know if Filipino like parents do this, but Mexican parents do this. If you're crying and they like are annoyed at you crying, it's either you keep crying or I'll give you something to cry about.
Oh my God.
Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. You're in trouble when you hear that. Like, and then you're like, they're like, okay. And then you're like trying to hold back these tears. And it's like, what? It's like, stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. You've never heard that?
No.
Oh my God, dude. That's like like I'm saying, like you could be crying.
So you were just forced to stop crying.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like it was always like, what are you crying for? Well, because you're yelling. Well, what are you crying for? That's no reason to cry.
I'm sick.
Keep on crying and I'll give you something to cry about.
Did your parents ever give you something to cry about?
I just kept crying. I'm an emotional person.
See?
I get sad, I cry. I get happy, I cry. I get mad, I cry. That's how I am.
See, in Filipino households, we have everyday items that have multiple uses, so to speak.
Oh, yes. I'm very familiar with those. However, those were not used on me, but I know my mom and her siblings have experienced those.
Oh, yes. It was never used on me, but
Allegedly.
Let me use one prime example. So we have this thing called the walis. And the walis is basically, you ever see those like brooms with just like hella straw on it?
Yes.
That would either be used for one of two things. One, you're either brooming, you're cleaning, or two, the front end of the stick is actually hitting your ass. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, like that's what that shit, multi-use, people, multi-use.
Something that's also multi-use in Mexican culture, an extension cord. You can plug in your TV or you could smack your kid's ass with it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Also, chinelas, chanclas.
Chinelas and chanclas.
Same thing, but like, multiple uses. Could walk around.
Yeah. It's either going to be on your foot or your ass. Pick one. I'm like, bro, like this old ass way of disciplining is like, it's so cruel.
Yeah. Have you ever heard about the rule of thumb?
What, like a thumb up the ass?
No.
Oh. Okay, what's the rule of thumb?
Rule of thumb is like, this is an actual thing. I learned it in history class that like it was way back then, but you could discipline your kid and you could hit your kid with a stick as long as it wasn't as like thicker than your thumb.
Yeah.
It could be as long as you want, but it couldn't be thicker than your thumb. Again, rule of thumb.
Like
that's
you're talking about like an actual item.
Yeah. Like, so that's where rule of thumb came from.
Oh, I didn't know that. I was going to say that's lit. It's not actually lit, but like, it's so interesting how we take a phrase that actually means something totally bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I learned that in history class.
That's interesting. Wasn't there another idiom that we were talking about this past week or two?
I don't know.
There was something else that we were talking about. Oh, man. Sorry, y'all. This is going to be like the brain fart moment of the podcast because there was literally something Jackie and I were talking about. It was an idiom, and it actually meant something crazy.
I can't remember.
You know what? We're probably just gonna have to skip it, because for the love of God, wasn't it Heavens to Betsy?
No.
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 It was something. I don't know. We're just gonna skip over this because everybody's probably like, okay, well now I'm having a brain fart.
Yeah, no, they're literally trying to figure it out, even though they weren't in the conversation.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, man.
But yeah, that was like discipline in like a Mexican household. Like in my Mexican household, it was just more of like mental and like,
Jesus Christ,
mental discipline and emotional discipline rather than physical discipline. You know? And I remember like when I would be like, my grandma would babysit me and my cousin Kehlani. Like my aunt gave me the authority to put Kehlani on timeouts when she was younger. And I abused the shit out of that. Because I remember when Kehlani would be so annoying, I'd just be like, go in a timeout, like go in the corner. And like I'd put her by the heater.
Oh my God.
The heater wasn't on, but one time the heater was on and she was sweaty.
Jesus.
And then she's like, Jackie, it's on. I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know the heater was on.
So Jackie over here talking about she's giving her baby cousin a timeout.
She was literally like 5, and I think the reason that I put her on timeout was because she bit me. She was in like a biting stage, and like I have the scar here. Look, you see that red dot on my hand?
Yeah.
That's Kehlani. She bit me so hard, and my grandma had to hold her nose so that she couldn't breathe and she'd let go. So then I put her in timeout because of it.
Oh my God, yeah. I definitely would have gotten the walis, the back end of the walis.
The walis.
The fuck you doing biting your cousin?
For real.
Jesus Christ.
I will say Mexican moms have like amazing aim with the chancla.
You've gotten a chancla thrown at you? What?
Like, no, it's just a thing that Mexican moms have great aim with the chancla. Like, they could throw that like and hit you on the head spot on.
I was about to say, maybe that's why you were so good at softball.
Yeah, let me just try it with a chancla.
Yeah, you know, just fucking full on precision, just
Dart.
Jesus
Bullseye.
Christ. I would love to see like a chancla throwing competition.
I think there was something like that. There was like a I don't know, like the I don't know, it's probably on YouTube, but I think there was like a Mexican moms like type of thing, a Mexican mom Olympics, and they had like chancla throwing. It was so funny.
It's gonna be like, hear ye, hear ye.
Oh my god.
We will have a 2-sided tournament right here, right now. I need all the Mexican moms to the left. I need all the Filipino moms to the right. We will see who has the most precision in chancla throwing. For my Filipinos, chinelas throwing. And at the end, we will see which one is more supreme.
And their targets? Their kids.
Their kids. Oh my God.
Oh my God. We're probably bringing up so many scarred memories for everyone right now.
If you make them cry, you get extra points.
If you don't give them something to cry and give them something to cry about.
Oh God. If you hit them in the eye, 10 extra points.
It's like the GTA.
Jesus
The more people
Christ.
you hit, the more points.
Jesus Christ. And if you have twins, double the points.
Double the point.
If one is older.
Is twins a thing in your family?
Twins are not a thing in my family.
Twins are a thing in mine.
Okay, first of all, I've never seen a twin in your family, and I've been around your family a lot already.
Yeah, but it's on my mom's older sister.
Okay.
Her kids are two of her kids are twins. And then on my like grandma's side, I think like her cousin is a twin. Like twins are a thing, but we haven't had twins in the more recent generations. Like my generation, like my cousins, they're obviously twins, but like after me, there's no twins.
Okay.
And so there's somebody's like bound to have to. We honestly thought Jacob and Denise, my brother and my sister-in-law, for you guys who don't know, we thought they were probably gonna have twins. My grandma, my dad's mom, she actually like was calling it. She goes, "Yeah, they're gonna have twins." And I was like, "Oh God."
Oh God. Well, if you had a twin, I would still choose you.
I'm sick. You're done.
What's the name for twins who
Fraternal twins.
Fraternal twins, right?
I like how I just know what Nico's thinking without even having him to finish his
she knows
thought.
what I'm saying. Okay, so question. If you are dating a fraternal twin, let's say you're a guy and you're only into women. If you date a fraternal twin,
that doesn't.
Wouldn't it also mean that
know
you think that
no.
the brother is hot?
I know you're fraternal twins, babe. Nico doesn't know what fraternal means, babe. They don't look alike. They are just born at the same time. You're horrible. Fraternal twin. Do you know what fraternal twins mean? Clearly not. They don't look like, they look like siblings, but they don't look exactly alike because they're both different. Like, oh my fucking God. I'm losing brain cells talking to this man.
Let me just look this up.
You tried making a joke, but it sounded really dumb. It just sounded really dumb, babe.
Okay, wait. So, fraternal twins are also dizygotic. I just can't even pronounce this shit, so I'm gonna spell it out. Dizygotic twins. Dizygotic twins. They result from the fertilization of two separate eggs during the same pregnancy. Fraternal twins may be the same or different sexes. They share half of their genes just like any other siblings.
Exactly. So Nico is clearly wrong. For everyone who's listening, I am so sorry about that horrible joke he just tried to make.
That is so funny, though.
No, that's horrible.
That's hella funny.
And you know what's crazy, too, about my family? Like, my family genes are all over the place. Like, there's colored eyes runs in my family. Light skin, like, runs in my family. And blonde, like, blondish, like, dirty blonde hair. And red hair runs in my family.
Oh, see, when you said family genes, I thought you meant like there's genes on the couch, there's genes on the bed.
can't ever talk about anything serious with Nico.
Okay, I'm kidding. Okay, so then your family, there's different shades of brown, so to speak.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, why are you looking at me that way?
Because you piss me off sometimes, babe.
What? Different shades of brown.
Yeah, like my family, they're like my mom's cousin, one of her like immediate cousins. Yeah, immediate cousins is like all her most of her kids are, it's actually really kind of fucked up because 2 of her 3 kids are dirty blonde and light skinned and colored eyes and they're Mexican. But the last kid has dark brown hair, really dark brown skin, brown eyes, and he looks nothing like his brother and sister.
What the
And
heck?
so it's like, and like I've seen them before, and I always thought that he, like the youngest, was adopted. Like,
I mean,
and so like because I grew up, like we didn't grow up with them, so like every time we would go over to their house or whatever for like a family party, I'd see him. I'm like, and like I remember I asked one time, I'm like, oh, is he adopted? And they're like, no, that's their kid. He just got the other side of the Mexican.
you just walk in like, oh, who's your friend? You go to middle school with him or what?
So like there's like a very high chance that like there's a not high chance. There's a chance that if I like were to have a kid, it'd come out like very light skin, or it could have colored eyes, or it could have red hair or dirty blonde hair.
That's so interesting.
Right?
I mean, it's kind of interesting because you can't really determine like what's going to happen, but like I would be so damned
If we had a kid.
you get what I'm saying? I would be so damned. We have a kid and then the kid's blonde and light skinned. I'd be like, is this mine?
Is it, babe? What the fuck's going on?
So when you said Chad was just your friend, huh?
Oh my god. Who the fuck is Chad?
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant Trevor.
Trevor? Who the fuck is Trevor?
I meant Chapman.
You're just thinking of white people names.
What's another? No, there's one white person name that
Cody?
I'm hella thinking. No, not Cody.
Blake.
Not Blake.
Uh,
Tanner. Tanner is the name. Tanner is the
I know a
name.
Tanner. I know a Tanner.
Well, apparently it's your cousin.
I'm sick. Oh my god! But yeah.
Okay. So let me ask this. Shouts out to the Tanners of the world. You know, is it and I'm asking Jackie as my girlfriend too, and everybody feel free to, put in your 2 cents on this.
Mm-hmm.
If a girl has a guy best friend, is that a red flag?
Yes. I think so.
Why?
It's the same thing that would apply if a guy has a girl best friend. Like, wouldn't you think that, like, I mean, there could be, like, well, okay, let me start over. Hold on. It's a little bit of both. Because it could potentially be a red flag for the significant other. Because it's like, okay, well, why are you this close? Like, there's always that question of like, did something happen between you, you know? And they could tell you like, no, nothing's ever happened. He's like a brother to me, blah, 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 whatever. But like, that person has probably, like, there's always going to be like that. I think there's always going to be something there that the other one doesn't know.
I get what you mean.
And personally, for me, like, yeah, I've had guy best friends before, and there has been instances where, they have developed feelings. I'm like, no, I'm okay. And then I just end up ghosting like my friends.
I get you.
Because it's like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to like have conflict. I don't want to like, just deal with any of it.
I feel it.
But there is like guys that can be my friend that not necessarily are my best friends that are just like,
I feel
regular
like
ass people. And I think as a significant other, like
if something's up.
Yeah. Also if they're interested in your person and if your person's interested in them. Like if I were to have a guy best friend, babe, and like I'm over here touching his shoulder, oh my god, like this and that, you'd be like, what the fuck?
Like, oh hey.
Yeah, it's like what the fuck? And then on contrary, like if you have a girl best friend and you're like over here like, oh my god, like, you know, being intimate with her and like, you know,
yeah,
and I'm just like, okay, like it's like, oh my god, you know what I hate? Those girls that were like your friends before. No, I'm not talking you
yeah.
specifically. I'm just talking in general. But those girls, and everyone knows what I'm talking about. There's always that one girl who's friends with your boyfriend. And she's always like, oh my God, sweetie, it's so nice to meet you. Like, I've heard so much about you, blah, 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 blah. And you're just there and you instantly know it's like, this bitch is the one that like likes my boyfriend. She's like in love with him. She's like, yeah, we've been friends forever. Like, he's like a brother to me. Bitch, shut up. Shut up. Like, it is on site when I see you next time. And the only reason I'm being civil is because this is my first time meeting you. But guarantee I am fucking pounding on your head in my head right now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Guaranteed. And you're going to tell me that it's not the same for guys? Like,
well, so my thing is, I think there's always, like anything in this world, right? Like there's always like exceptions. There's always exceptions to whatever the rule is, right? So if in this particular case, like it's kind of a red flag if you're a female and you have a guy best friend, or if you're a male and you have a girl best friend, there's always some sort of exception. And so I'll give you like, you know, my 2 cents, for example, where a lot of the people who I grew up, whether they be guys or girls, like we all kind of just grew up like together. So it's like my best friends who I would consider like guys and girls are all grouped together. It's like, you know what I mean? Like you've met my friends, you've met my guy friends, you've met my girlfriends. They're all like best friends in that sense, right?
Yeah,
because
I've met
there's
most of
just
them.
so much like nostalgia, there's so much history. So it's just like, okay, like this is just like my group of best friends because of the longevity and the time that we've spent together, and we've like just kept in touch. I feel like a best friend, like I mean, there's also levels to best friends, which I don't necessarily want to get into right now. But yeah, like I think that where the red flag comes up is when the other person becomes like protective. I think that's where like the true red flag is. So let's say
like the best friend becomes protective?
yeah, when the best friend becomes like, I mean, there's
starts being like, oh, why aren't you hanging out with me as often type of thing?
Yes, like that. Like, oh, like why haven't we hung out? Why haven't we?
Or they're always like third wheeling?
Yeah, shit like that. You know, it's kind of just like, that's where it gets a little bit murky.
So, okay, let me ask you something now. Has there ever been a conflict of like, oh my God, I literally just had the question in my head. Has there ever been a conflict as to like knowing like your significant other? Let me rephrase that. Hold on. Not you in particular, but like, is it like, would you validate your partner's feelings if they know that something is going on that you don't? Like, let's say like you knew that a guy, like my guy best friend, liked me, but I was completely oblivious to it, and you're like, no, he likes you. And I'm just like, no, he doesn't. Like, it's fine. Like, what do you do in that sense?
See, I think it's, at least for me, I think it's always innocent until proven guilty in that point. There's been a situation, and this is my personal situation, right? Like in my personal situation, I warned my the person I was with at the time, like, oh hey, like I'm pretty sure that guy likes you. And she's like, no, he doesn't. I'm like, all right, whatever you say. So I will trust that whatever you say is true. Later on to find out that the guy tries to do something with her. And I'm like,
You're like, so I was right.
So I was right the whole time.
It's, I do think that like you as your partner, as your partner, and you develop like a sixth sense to this type of shit.
Yeah.
It's like, I know.
Yeah.
And you can try and say like, no, it's nothing. Like there's just like, they've been my friend forever. Like it's nothing like that. It's like, no, I know.
Yeah.
And I think as the partner, you're also supposed to be like reassure your partner. It's like, no, let me tell you right now that there is nothing that could happen to affect our relationship. I think that's like a responsibility that you have as a partner, regardless of its best friends, regardless of anything, just in general as a partner. You should keep on reassuring your partner. You give them like words of affirmation that like, hey, it is me and you. And yeah, we might have friends, we might have like coworkers, we might work with people and this and that, like, but at the end of the day, I mean, you've told me before, like, at the end of the day, I'm on the phone with you. I'm going to sleep with you,
Yeah.
And that is all really someone like could ever ask for.
Yeah.
And like, that's it. I mean, I know that there hasn't been really many instances in like my situation where like I have to tell you that because I just tell you every day.
Yeah.
But even though there's like nothing going on,
Yeah. I feel
it's just words of affirmation that you give your partner. So like, yeah, I mean, as like at the end of the day, like as a partner, the red flags between guy best friends and girl best friends for your partner.
Yeah.
And it's just like.
And also somebody who is on the end of having like a guy best friend or a girl best friend, in this case, I think it's also your responsibility to understand like, okay, well, maybe if they're like you kind of know, right? So it's like, maybe if there is a possibility of knowing that there are feelings that have developed, it's also your responsibility to kind of just like,
hey, back off.
Yeah.
Like, not
hey, back off.
Not you tell them, hey, back off, but like
you personally move,
back off.
Take a couple steps back, champ.
Yeah. No, like create a boundary.
Yeah, that's what it is. Create a boundary.
Because you have to respect your relationship.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you're respecting your relationship, and that's what it is.
So this has also been a very interesting topic that I've been bringing up to everybody because Jackie, she mentioned this to me because she was going through TikTok, Friends TikTok, I will call it. Friends the show.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, Friends the show. And for all of the Friends lovers out there, well, that's kind of a weird way to say it, but shouts out to everybody who watches Friends. There's a particular scene. There's actually multiple scenes throughout this show where Ross and Rachel argue over a break. Mm-hmm. And essentially, I haven't watched Friends in a long time, but essentially what happens is that, like, during this break, it's kind of believed from Ross's end that, like, you're on a break. So everything kind of just goes, right?
Right.
And so it's kind of like this gray area. So my question is, when you are on a break with your significant other, is it anything goes during this break, or are there any limitations when it comes to this break?
See, I think it depends on who you ask, because for some girls, it's anything goes. For other girls, it can be, no, there's rules on breaks. Same thing for guys, there could be rules and there could not be rules. However, I think if you have to take a break from your relationship, it's like there's something going on that you either just want to end it or you should work to fix it.
Yeah.
There's no breaks in a relationship.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I agree with what you're saying is what I'm saying.
I don't believe that there should be breaks in a relationship. If we're if we are going through something, we're going to work it out and we're going to work it out together. I'm not going to just break up with you right off the bat because I know that our relationship is worth fighting for.
Yeah.
So I'm going to work through it, and I would expect the same from you.
Yeah.
And if you're so easy to break it off, it's just like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
What the
I feel
heck?
it.
Like, you know? And so that's why I don't think breaks are, and let's say, you know, I'm not saying Nico and I are going on a break at all,
Yeah.
but, you know, if we were to ever, you know, God forbid, go on a break, but I would be like, you can't sleep with anybody. You can't go out with anybody, because this is a time for us to figure out stuff individually and personally, not with other people.
Yeah. See, so my way of thinking is actually a little different from yours, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it might be like a guy-girl thing. But for me, I always see one of two things. It's either one, you're either going to marry this person, or two, you're just going to break up with this person. So the idea of a break just naturally does not make sense to me. I've never been on a break with anyone or anything because I just always thought it was dumb. That being said, I do feel for the people who end up taking breaks for whatever reason. I feel like it's an all things go, because I mean, it's time for you to figure yourself out, right? So, and I'm speaking from the fact where if you end up sleeping with somebody else, or if you're with somebody else like during that time of the break, then you've kind of figured out that you don't want to be with that person anymore. So it's kind of crazy to like
but then
limit
if you
what
go back to that person,
if you go back to that person, then I would at least suggest you be honest and be like, hey, I slept with so-and-so, right?
right? So is it cheating? Is it cheating if you sleep with someone and you're on a break, but you didn't clear up the rules of it? Because like I said, for me, a break, I would lay out the rules. You can't sleep with anybody. You can't go out with anybody. But your things is like anything goes during a break.
Yeah.
So is it cheating if you sleep with someone on a break?
I think if you haven't established rules like that, then no, it's not cheating. Because if you've established like rules, like you cannot sleep with anybody else, I'm not going to sleep with anybody else, then I am dedicated to just, this is open format. Do whatever the fuck that you want to do.
Right.
Because there shouldn't be any, the reason why I feel like there also shouldn't be any rules established is because you're trying to figure out what you can do on your own and what is best for you. And if you establish rules, you are putting boundaries into you trying to be literally absolutely you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of a weird way of thinking.
Here's my take on that. And this is where we're disagreeing.
This is where we're disagreeing.
You said that putting a boundary on breaks is preventing you from being fully you. So
Yes.
being fully you means sleeping with other people?
Well, because that would be a decision that you have to make on your own. If I tell, like, let's say I tell my homie, right? Like, hey, bro, like, it's not cool if you sleep with so-and-so because you guys are on a break. I'm not allowing my homie to think for himself. Let's put this in like.
But it could just be an impulse thing. It could just be like, I'm mad at her and I want to get back at her. And even then, that's like a whole nother conversation of like,
yeah, but
you're being evil towards your relationship.
No, but then at that point, you're literally choosing to be yourself. And at that point, it's not cool, fam. It's not cool. But you're allowing the other person to exhibit their free will. I feel like if you put rules and regulations in a break, then you're never truly getting the full identity of who that person is. Because if the person you're with wanted to fuck someone else, sleep with anybody else, whatever the case is, and they just so happen to do that during the break, you come to realize that person is not who you thought they were. So, if you tell someone there are limitations with this, you're not allowing them to just do what they need to do.
And honestly, you're not allowing yourself to see them for who they truly are either, which at the end...
Exactly. That is exactly my point.
And like at the end of the day too, is like if you want to call a break just to sleep with other people, it's like, why are you in a relationship? If you cheat,
yeah, for sure.
If you
for
cheat,
sure.
why are you in a relationship? You know?
Yeah.
It's like you said, and I think this way, like I think this way too, where it's like I'm dating this person with full intention of like spending the rest of my life with them, or I'm just gonna break up with them.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know, or just go out with them and just see how that goes. And I think with your relationships, I think like how you're gonna go about certain things. It's just wild to me how some people will call a break just to, sleep with others. Because I know people who've done that,
That's crazy. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not gonna lie. I probably know somebody who's done that too.
Yeah, and like I'm not gonna front. Like there was previous relationships where somebody just called a break or just to go and screw other people.
Yeah.
Did I stay with that person? Obviously not.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, you know what, screw you. And I think I've told you this before. There was somebody who I dated in the past who literally dated 2 Jackies just to fuck me over. Yeah.
Crazy.
And that was when the time when like people would put like their significant others in their bio and this and that. So he put Jackie thinking that either one Jackie thought it was us.
God damn.
Like that shit's soul crushing.
Yeah, that's
like, imagine going through like, your pre-adult phase and having these insecurities and then figuring that out. Like, bro, just don't be in a relationship at that point.
Yeah. I agree.
Like, that shit's wild. Breaks are a no-go.
Yeah.
Cheating, you're a piece of shit if you cheat.
Yeah. I agree. That I have never done. I can proudly say.
Do you think cheaters can change?
Ooh, do I think cheaters can change? 100%. 100%. And
so you don't believe in the once a cheater, always a cheater?
No, I don't believe in that. I'm not a cheater, first and foremost. But, just like anything in life, I feel like people have the opportunity to just grow and learn from their mistakes, some quicker than others. And a lot of those mistakes for young adolescent males is cheating on the person that they're with. And I'll specifically say young adolescent males, right? But and when I say it's a lot, some people don't grow out of it is the people who, end up growing up. They're just like, I'll sleep with anyone, whatever, blah, 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 whoop-de-whoop. But I do wholeheartedly believe that people have the opportunity to change because a lot of things happen, right? Like, for some people, it's like a career change and it can alter the way they think. For other people, it could be consuming as many shrooms as possible and seeing the world differently, right?
Yeah.
For other people, it could be something as drastic as a baby. Like, things happen in people's lives that can alter their way of thinking.
Or just even meeting the right person.
Yeah, see? Or just meeting the right person. And, so I'm not hardcore on like once a cheater, always a cheater. I do believe it has something to do with people's general tendencies. I don't think cheating is like at the core of someone's like character, but it is a reflection of how somebody goes about everything else that they do in life, which is more of the core problem. It's not a relationship issue, it's a core issue.
Interesting.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. But wouldn't that also be considered character? If it's at the core of it?
Well, it's like the core. So that's like an outer layer. Like cheating on somebody is more of like it's like an outer layer of like what the main issue is. So let me give you an example. And this is not going to be in regards to cheating, right? So like, for instance, when I was younger, I've told you this, like I used to be into like ecstasy and Molly, and I used to do that shit all the time, right? And so at the core, or from the outside looking in, Nico has a drug problem, right? But no, the core of it is that I have a very addictive personality. So I can apply that. I could literally apply that to like a lot of things that I do in life, whether it be Twitch, for example, streaming 365 days, whether it be Pokemon, for example. Like, you've seen me play for freaking hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What at one point it was like playing basketball literally every single day. So I've understood over time that drug issue that I faced when I was younger, the core of it is that I have a very addictive personality. So if we're bringing it back to this particular conversation that we have in regards to cheating is just the surface level of what the actual core is. Now, for everyone was wondering, Nico, what's the core? I don't know what the fuck the core is. I don't know.
I think it varies for different people because you know, everyone goes through something different in their life.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I can't speak for somebody who's cheated because I haven't done that.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, whatever that core issue is the actual problem. Cheating is not the problem. The core issue is the problem.
Interesting. That's
do we see eye to eye on that? Like, you get what I'm saying
I
now?
get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Because I used to think that, like, you know, once a cheater, always a cheater. I used to think that way. And I wouldn't forgive anybody. I would hate people. I think that they're evil. I think that they're like... And do I think people who cheat are evil? To an extent, yeah. Because you're hurting someone, you know? You're breaking someone. And that takes a toll on somebody. However... I now do believe that, like, as I got older, I'm like, yeah, you know what? People can change. Yeah. And it took me a long time to get there, but because of, like, you know, just experience. Yeah. You know, but I do believe now that, like, you know, people can change and it's not always once a cheater, always a cheater. Yeah.
And, you know, for me, I regulate my addictions. I'll play Pokemon on Fridays.
Yeah.
But for 6 hours at a time. I won't be on Twitch every day.
Doesn't do drugs anymore.
I don't do drugs anymore.
Even though, like, everyone always asks me, like, bro, what? Everyone always asks me, like, bro, what is Nico on? I'm just like, life. He's just like, Nico is just Nico. Like, that's literally all I can say.
Yeah, I've just come to appreciate life in so many different ways.
I don't think I told you this, but it does suck. Like, I don't know. I want your take on this, but someone told me recently that we're a very good match for each other. However, they're like, you two are definitely different personalities. And it's weird how Nico's so outgoing and you're not.
Well, I mean, you are outgoing. I'll say that. You're outgoing. It's just that I'm louder. That's it. I'm just louder. I'm just fucking loud.
Yeah, and also you don't care what anyone else thinks.
I don't give a fuck. Like, I really don't care. Shouts out to everybody who's in the TikTok comments, by the way, who's getting on my ass about Halo Halo is not a drink. First and foremost, if the Halo Halo fucking melts, then yeah, you gotta drink it, asshole.
Oh my god, yeah. TikTok is eating Nico up right now.
And I'm definitely not eating up those red beans in the Halo Halo.
Regardless if they're sweet or not. And for TikTok, this is for TikTok. I'm gonna clip this right now. This is for TikTok. I'm the Mexican. Nico is the Filipino. So screw y'all.
Yeah. It's racist of you to assume that Jackie, even though her people was also taken over by Spaniards, that she is Filipino.
Yeah, I know. I'm proud of my Mexican heritage.
Yeah, and I'm proud of my Filipino heritage.
But apparently we're not Mexican enough or Filipino enough according to the TikTok comments.
Man, that's probably like, that is the most racist. What's the word? Like when you're racist, like amongst your own people?
Is it xenophobia? No, it's not xenophobia. It's what is it? Hold
Sorry,
on.
we don't have a producer, so we gotta look up this shit like by ourselves. Racist on your own people. Internalized.
Internalized. I like how we were like
interlock, interchange,
internalized racism.
So, back to the point, like, I think one of the worst internalized racism things that you can say is that, this coming from a Filipino, that you're not Filipino enough.
Or you're not Mexican enough. And it fucking sucks. Yeah. You know? Because sometimes you hear that growing up. Sometimes and like, I feel it sometimes where I'm not Mexican enough. And so and I know like on social media, you put your stuff out there. So you're putting yourself open to these comments and to all these like trolls out there. But it's like, who are you to say what is Mexican enough? Who are you to say what is Filipino enough? Mm-hmm. I'm enough for me. Yeah. I'm enough for my family.
Yeah.
And I'm Mexican enough to Nico because he learns things about me and my culture. He's Filipino enough to me because I learn about Filipino culture.
Yeah.
So for someone to say you're not enough of something.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. And I think, you know, that's just fucking racist, really.
It's internalized racism.
It's internalized racism.
It is definitely a thing. If you don't think internalized racism is a thing, you are definitely wrong.
Yeah, because I promise you, like, I've not told anybody, like, oh, you're not Filipino enough.
Yeah.
You know what's so crazy now that we're talking about this is, right, I remember at the shopping mall I used to work at, Ceremony Mall, which if you're from the Daly City, San Francisco area, you've come to realize that Ceremony Mall is a super Filipino-ass mall.
Yeah, it is. I've been there once, and I can't confirm.
It is a super Filipino-ass mall, everybody. But
that is the one that we went to.
Yeah, but I remember now growing up, because we're having this conversation, is that I used to work for Filipinos. I used to work for some Filipinos at this you know those kiosks where you like sell cell phones or whatever. There was a group of Indonesian people who made their way to working into the mall, also working kiosks, whatever, right? And I remember this vividly, that I was already friends with the Indonesian people who came in, but my boss at the time, he had told the Indonesian people, like this is the Filipino mall. You can't be here.
What?
Yeah, like this is the Filipino mall. Like this isn't your mall. And I'm
way.
Damn, bro. Like that's, I mean, first of all, that's fucked up. That's racist as shit. Second of all, it's like you're acting like they also haven't gone through some shit that we haven't gone through ourselves.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, I've come to recognize that there are instances in which racism maybe didn't particularly happen to me, but I've witnessed racism happen from my own people to other people. And to that, I just kind of say, like, bro, like, our people were enslaved. Our people were taken over and raped. Conquered and all of that. So
to even say that they were conquered is just like,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, so like why are you gonna do that to the next person? And that issue still is prevalent to today when you say you're not Filipino enough, if you're not, or you're not Mexican enough.
It's very crazy to think that way, because like, and I think among Latinos too, it's a very, very like prominent thing that still happens, where other, like, you know, ethnicities, whether, you know, it's like, you know, Mexicans and Salvadorians and Hondurans and Guatemalans and, you know, Cubans and Puerto Ricans, like we all look at each other and we always try and find something wrong with the other.
Yeah, like why?
Why? And it's like, what the hell? Like, why? Like, what is that for? Like, we're all about, you know, raza and this and that. Raza meaning like, like for the culture, for the race, blah, 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 blah. We're all about raza and this and that. and we all fight for equality and we want to be treated like we belong here because we do belong here, but yet we always try and minimalize everybody else.
Yeah. This reminds me of the conversation that we just had with Cook, but can you just reiterate this for everybody who might not be aware, but like Chicanos, like you were educating me on Chicanos like a couple weeks ago. Like, can you explain that again for everybody?
Yeah. So I was telling Nico that Chicanos was actually a derogatory term used for American-born Mexicans. And it was meaning coming from the word chico. Chico meaning small, smaller than. You're smaller than us. You're a smaller Mexican. You're a smaller this. You're not enough because you were born in America. And during the Chicano movement, we took that back. We took that back in the sense of like, you know what? Yeah, I am Chicano. And I'm proud. I'm proud that I'm Chicano because, yeah, I was born here, but I'm also Mexican. And I could learn about my Mexican heritage and I could also learn about my American heritage. And I could be both. And it's nothing to be ashamed of because I'm making it what I want to make it. And for my dad, he calls himself Chicano. He doesn't call himself American, Mexican, Mexican-American. He calls himself Chicano because that is what he is and that's what he believes to be. And me, I feel like, I don't know if it's a rule that you can call yourself both, but I do call myself both, you know? I'm Chicana. I'm also Mexican-American.
It's the way you identify yourself.
Yeah, it's the way that I identify myself. Yeah. And do I wish I knew more about my culture? Absolutely. Can I educate myself on my culture? Absolutely. And I grew up speaking Spanish because of my grandma, and then I lost it as I grew older, and it sucks, but I'm Mexican enough for me. I'm Mexican enough for my family. I'm Mexican enough for you. Mm-hmm. And I'm Mexican enough for anybody who sees me and, I'm just Mexican enough. And nobody can take that away from me.
Yeah. And I am Filipino enough.
So to everyone in the TikTok comments, screw you.
Yeah, screw y'all. That being said, speaking about like history of our heritages and whatnot, heritages, hentai. I'm just totally kidding. So I follow this very this is like literally my favorite Filipino/Filipino-American Instagram pages. Shouts out to One Down Media. Mm-hmm. It's ONEDWN Media. There's no O in the down, if that makes it easier for everybody, right? But this was one fact that they brought up that was just so cool. So there were highlights in the NBA this year that for the first time in history, there's 2 Filipino basketball players in the NBA at the same time, that being Jalen Green and Jordan Clarkson. However, the first actual Filipino to ever play in the NBA is Raymond Townsend between 1978 through 1981. Guess who drafted him?
The Warriors.
The motherfucking Warriors, baby. The Warriors drafted Raymond Townsend, the first Filipino-American to ever play in the NBA. What was cool about all of this, too, was the fact that he actually inspired Filipino Heritage Night.
Really?
Yes.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm. So anytime you see like Filipino Heritage Night, the Warriors, whatever your team is. Dodgers, literally whatever your team is. Raymond Townsend was that guy.
That made it happen.
Shout
out to Raymond Townsend.
Shouts out to Raymond Townsend.
That's so awesome. I think like those heritage nights at like arenas and stadiums are so cool. They're so cool. Even if you're not of that heritage, Mm-hmm. Like when we have Filipino night and we have Mexican heritage night and we have Korean night at Dodger Stadium, we even have Japanese heritage night. And we have African-American Heritage Night. And it's because there's so many players and so many athletes that come from different backgrounds that, you know, you should celebrate them because they are the core. They are the core of all these, you know, sports industries, you know. We recruit people at 16 and 12 years old in Cuba and Mexico, and because they're just that good. And to celebrate them here, it's like, damn. And I'm pretty sure they feel the same way too. Like, you know, like,
I mean, as you should, you know, as you should. Like, you know, even if we take it to like an NBA standpoint, it's like, yeah, there's not a lot of Filipinos in the NBA, but there's a lot of Filipinos who watch the NBA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of us who buy jerseys. You know how many Steph Curry jerseys I have. You know how many Warrior jerseys I have.
I will say that being in the organization, in the Dodgers organization, the most popular nights are Mexican and Filipino Heritage Nights.
And
they always sell out.
Yeah, I will also attest to that too, because I've literally been to one where I'm DJing.
Yeah, everyone goes hard. Filipinos go hard. Mexicans, we go hard for like those heritage nights because we're represented. You know.
Yeah, that's at the core of just what we all want at the end of the day, to be represented. Because even if we don't see our people in a particular sport as often as we'd like, that does not mean we're not fans, and that does not mean that like we should also not be appreciated for it, because like anything, like the NBA, the MLB, this podcast, anything that you're in, you need some sort of fan base, you need some sort of audience, you need some sort of fans, and those fans, whether they be Filipino,
whether they be Mexican,
white, black, Japanese, whatever, you know, just we're thankful for everybody.
Yeah.
We're thankful for everybody who is tuned in, whether you're any of the aforementioned or even the ones that we forgot to mention, you know, like, and it's cool because I think the Mexipino podcast is beyond just Mexican and Filipino. This is just what it's about, like raising awareness for our people, and hopefully other people can also understand our perspectives.
Yeah, that you can break boundaries in your respective cultures, you know? That you can talk about things that aren't necessarily talked about, that you can break cycles that have been around for generations.
And the things that either Mexicans go through or Filipinos go through or Mexipinos go through is very synonymous to how other cultures are also affected in this lifetime. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So we just hope that you guys can relate to even just a small part of this.
Yes. Well, you know what's cool about this podcast is like it got like it was hella fun and then super deep and then hella fun again and then super deep.
Yeah. It was a good podcast.
Yes. I mean, I hope y'all, you know, rate us 5 out of 5. I was gonna say 5 out of 10, but I'm like, that's not good.
That's not good. 5 out of 5.
Oh my God. Well, everybody, thank you. And
wait. Before we end, we have to shout out one of our TikTok followers.
Oh yeah, this is a crazy story, by the way. I'll have Jackie explain this shit.
We're gonna end on this one. So we were at our friend After Hours Lady
After.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Lady After Hours is our friend. She's Indonesian.
Yes. So Lady After Hours is our friend, at Lady After Hours on Instagram. And she had a Shaka Soul like day party this past Sunday, and we were there, and we're just standing, we're just chilling and observing everything. And somebody comes up to us and says, "Hey, I know you guys. You guys are from Mexipino podcast." And we're like, "What?"
Shook, y'all. We're shook.
We looked at each other, we're like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I follow you guys on TikTok." And I was like, "Oh my God, really?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, "What's your name?" He goes, "Carlo." I was like, "Carlo, it's so nice to meet you." Like,
yeah.
And we're over here introducing ourselves, but he just finished saying, like, "I know you guys from Mexipino podcast." I was like, "Oh, I'm Jackie. This is Nico, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Man, like, I really love what you guys do." So, Carlo, thank you so much for coming up to us. Like, we really appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Carlo.
You're, like, the first person, and, like, we will remember you forever, bro. Like, that is so cool that, like, somebody came up to us and was just like, "I know who you guys are."
Yeah. And we were high as shit when it happened too. So even more so, I was like, oh, this is fucking mind-blowing right now.
Right. And shout out to everyone on TikTok. We just hit 2,000 followers today as of February 23rd. We are at, what are we at? I have no idea where we're at right now.
Let's see who can pull it up first.
2,104 followers.
Oh my God.
We are at 21.
That's crazy. 2104. It was at like 2022 this morning.
Yeah, it was at 2022 at 10 o'clock this morning. It's now 6 o'clock or about to be 6 o'clock, and it's 2104. So TikTok, thank you guys so much. We really, really appreciate you guys.
Yes.
Freaking insane. You guys are crazy. You guys are very funny. You guys are also like just wild in general.
Yeah,
so
because the support comes in many ways.
yes. Yeah, TikTok, you guys are crazy.
Even the hate comments we enjoy because
We
you're keeping our
read 'em.
algorithm popping.
We read them. We read the hate comments. We love them. The love comments. We love them.
And for the record, anybody, if you get a response from us on TikTok, it's literally either me or her.
Yeah. So you'll just never know.
Yeah.
So that's the end of the Mexipino podcast for today.
Yes. My name is Nico Blitz.
My name is Jackie Ramirez. You can always follow us on our socials at Mexipino Podcast or personally at Nico, aka Blitz, or at J_Quillen. And yeah, we will see you guys next time. We hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. And
bye.
Adios.